Alright, hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Casey, and today's reading is going to be all about your current path. This could be the current purpose that you feel like you're working towards. Maybe your path is your career path, your spiritual path, maybe your inner emotional path as you overcome certain obstacles within yourself. Whatever path you're on, this reading is going to tell you, first of all, all about the current path that you're on. So first of all, we're just going to talk about what is this path that you're on, so you'll know which reading is yours. Then we're also going to get into what lessons will best help you along your path. Now, these could be lessons that you've already learned, lessons that you have yet to learn, or lessons that you're in the process of learning right now. And finally, what blessings will this path leave you with after you have walked this path? What kind of blessings will you have, whether physical or, inner blessings? So that's everything that these readings are going to be about. So I have 3 different readings for you to choose from today. With pile 1, we have the duck and the chrysanthemum card. This one also talks about luck, and it's number 10. And this has the clear quartz. For pile 2, we have the bobcat and the blackthorn card, and this talks about patience. And I'm not really sure what number this is, XL. Oh, not sure, but there you go. And then this is the blue lace agate. For pile 3, we have the crow and the dogwood, and this talks about intelligence. And this is XVI, which I believe is 16, and this is the green aragonite. So go ahead and pause, figure out which reading you feel most drawn to. I'll leave timestamps down in the description box below so you can quickly jump to whichever reading that you want to listen to. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, pile 1. If you chose the clear quartz, then this is the reading for you, and I'm really excited about your reading today. I wasn't originally planning on doing a reading today. I don't usually do readings back to back. I just did one yesterday, but I felt really drawn to doing this idea because, as humans, we're all on our own paths. Sometimes we're on multiple paths at once. Maybe it's the path of parenthood. Maybe it's a career path. Maybe it's a path of overcoming inner obstacles or inner turmoil, inner trauma. Whatever path that you're on, I wanted to kind of give you some guidance from the universe of, first of all, where is this path leading you to? What's the purpose of this path that you're currently on? What blessings are you going to get out of it? And, what kind of lessons can you learn that will help you along as you navigate this path through life, or this path through yourself, or this path to spirituality? So we have quite a few cards to get through today, so sit tight. I think this reading is going to be best for you if maybe you're sitting down, drawing, and you have an open ear. I would say this is probably going to take a little bit, so listen to this when you have the time and when you have the attention. But let's go ahead and get into it. So starting off in the middle here, we have your tarot cards, and this is all about your current path. That's the only intention that I went with this. And we have a lot of interesting things going on here. I think they're all talking about slightly different areas of your life and of yourself, but they all have the same idea interlinking them. And I believe that idea to be leaving behind things that no longer suit you. I feel like as you've gone through this path, and this path could be spanning across a decade, it could be spanning across the recent year, I feel like for the majority of you, this is not like a brand new path that you've stumbled across. I think that this is a lifelong thing of lessons you've been needing to learn, and I think it's going to be very uncomfortable for you because what I'm seeing here is this path is all about you learning how to leave behind things that are no longer serving you. And that can look like anything. That could look like material wealth. That maybe you always thought, this material wealth, this certain amount of money, this is all that I need, and once I have it, I'll finally be happy. And then maybe you finally got that and you realized everything here is hollow. And maybe you needed to leave behind that material wealth to actually pursue what makes you happy. And that's heartbreaking because you're like, this is all I've wanted. I've always wanted this security. I've always wanted this comfort. I thought that this would be, what would finally make me happy, but it turns out that it's actually hollow. And leaving behind that is going to be heartbreaking. Maybe for others of you, you've always wanted to be in a romantic relationship and you finally find one and then you realize, God, this isn't the person for me. Or maybe what you've always been searching for are friends. You finally get together this group that you're like, yes, finally I have friends, but those friendships are hollow. And it's like, I feel like you're so frustrated because you're yearning for these things only to find out that they don't fulfill you or they're not perfect, and you're so frustrated with the universe. You're like, why do you keep teasing me? Why do you keep giving me these things only to have them not be what I'm longing for? And I truly believe the reason that this is happening is it's teaching you how to walk away from things that don't serve you. It's teaching you how to stand up for yourself when your environment is not, this actually makes me think of this quote that I heard on TikTok. It was like this kid walked up to his teacher and was like, what's your most inspirational quote? And the teacher said something like, the same water that can make an egg hard can make ice soft. Or it's like one can melt you and the other can make you tougher. And he said, forgive me if I'm saying it wrong, but it was something like, don't let your environment form you. You form your environment so that it can best benefit you. And I feel like for so long, your environment has been forming you. Your environment's been affecting you. And the universe is asking you, when things are uncomfortable, when things don't feel right, stand up, move yourself, take charge of your own life. When you know something isn't serving you, when something doesn't resonate, it doesn't feel intuitively right, when you can tell that this is not the right environment for you, the right relationship for you, the right job for you, the right career path for you, are you going to be willing to stand up and say, I am going to follow my heart? I am going to follow my passion. I'm going to follow where my true self-fulfillment lies. I think that is I feel like that is going to be one of the most prominent lessons learned in your life. I think you're going to find this in a lot of different cycles that you go through. Like I said, I've listed off careers, I've listed off relationships, and I think you're going to see this everywhere in life. And I think in the beginning of this, when you're not yet used to, being able to pick up and move on when things don't feel right, it's going to be painful. It's going to be gut-wrenching because you're going to be like, I've finally gotten everything that I've ever wanted. I finally found it, and it doesn't make me happy. And that's a horrible realization to have to come to. But it's about, what are you going to do after that happens? Are you going to continue to sit there and say, you know what, I made it this far, I might as well just sit here. I'm comfortable, I'll make it work. Or are you going to push yourself out of your comfort zone and continue to chase what actually matters, to continue to chase what is actually right for you? And so I'm going to get a little bit more into the details here, but each of those I feel like is talking about, they're all having to do with that same thread of, are you willing to move when things are no longer resonating? Are you willing to walk away when things are not right? And so starting off here, you have the Seven of Cups reversed and the High Priestess reversed. This, to me, I feel like this talks about wish fulfillment, especially pertaining to material wealth or, physical things that you've always dreamed of wanting. Like maybe you didn't come from a lot of money and you always thought like, I want a Lamborghini, I want a huge house, I want the swimming pool, I want all the money, I want the house in the hills. And you've always dreamed of these things. You're like, if I just had that, life would be perfect. And maybe one of the lessons learned, because I'm not saying that you're necessarily super uber rich. I think that's kind of rare. This is just an analogy. But I'm almost imagining you finally attain all those things. You're sitting there in your mansion, you've got the cars in the garage, and you're just sitting there thinking, well, what now? I'm still the same person that I was before I had all this. Now I just have all this, but the house is empty. The cars, they're fun, but what else do they give me except a drive to the store, which I was already able to drive to the store with my Toyota Camry. And when I look at the High Priestess reversed, the High Priestess reversed to me speaks about things just not resonating. Things don't feel right. And you know intuitively within yourself that this is not where you are meant to be. You know intuitively within yourself, even though your ego is telling you, I've made it to the top, like I have everything, everybody wishes they were me. But the intuition part of you is saying, that's not true. Maybe you do have everything, maybe it looks great from the outside, but you're hollow inside. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit there and pretend like everything's fine and put up this facade of being happy with the way that things are? Or are you actually going to make a change? A change that might mean leaving behind all of this material wealth that was quote unquote everything you ever wanted. And I feel like you're the kind of person that you cannot just deny your intuition. You have to listen to it. Even though it's heartbreaking because you thought, this is what's going to heal me. This is what's going to solve all my problems. And then you finally get there and you feel hollow. And so what I see next is the Eight of Cups clarified by the Eight of Wands reversed. When I look at this, the Eight of Cups is all about leaving things behind. And when I look at this, I see all these cups that are empty. It's actually really interesting because you look at the Seven of Cups reversed, and I'll actually move it upright so you can see it a little bit better. The Seven of Cups they're all filled with these different things. You see the Tower in this card, which kind of, I guess, could symbolize a mansion. You see this abundance of wealth in this other cup. They're all filled with all these different things, and you're dreaming like, if I could just have this, everything would be perfect. But then you finally find it with this Eight of Cups card, and you see yourself walking away. Because actually, those cups were just empty. Those material things were not actually what you were seeking. And I feel like you're having to learn on this path what actually matters to you. What do you actually want out of life? I'm almost imagining somebody who, they work their ass off, to become, I don't know, like the best lawyer in the world. And they're like, okay, if I can do this, I'm going to make all the money and everybody's going to think I'm so accomplished. But then you get there and you're like, all I do all day are defend criminals who I know are actually guilty, and I'm just helping them get away with murder. And you're sitting there and you have all this money and you just feel like, God, is this all that life is about? And then you feel this longing towards another path where maybe you become a lawyer who helps out people that can't afford a good lawyer, who are just scraping by and they need to prove that they're actually innocent. And even though there's not a lot of money in that, you look at that and you're like, that is so much more fulfilling to me. That is what would make me happy, knowing that I'm helping people that actually need my help, instead of gaining money from something that makes me feel icky all the time. And so it's leaving behind this wealth, leaving behind possible opportunity, leaving behind what you thought was going to be perfect for you to pursue what actually feels right. And it's painful because it's like leaving behind security, starting over. I feel like starting over is a really big thing for you in all aspects of this. Because like I said, it's talking about leaving behind things that no longer suit you in relationships, in careers, in anything. And to do that means to start over from scratch. To leave behind a relationship means to say, okay, this is breaking up. Now I'm on my own again. Now all I have is myself. Where am I going to go from here? Leaving behind a career is like, okay, the money's not coming in anymore. Where am I going to go from here? I'm starting over, starting from scratch. But I think in your heart, your intuitive compass is directing you towards what will actually fulfill you, what will actually make you happy. And in order to do that, it means leaving behind what is empty. And finally, here you have the Three of Pentacles reversed, clarified by the Five of Swords. To me, this shows with the Three of Pentacles reversed, I think this talks to me about relationships. It talks about empty relationships, people that you're friends with. What I'm picturing in my mind is like this group of like moms who live in like Beverly Hills, and they go to their Peloton class and they go to all the expensive shops, and they're all just putting up this facade of being like the perfect mom, the perfect wife, having the perfect body, having the husband with all the money. And you're with these other moms, and like from the outside, everybody wishes they could be like them. But what you really see is none of these women care about each other. None of these women actually have deep talks about, hey, this thing really broke my heart and I need somebody to help me pick up the pieces because I can't do it on my own. Those kinds of friend groups, they don't do that. They're barely even friends. All they do is, snap pictures for Instagram to make everybody else jealous, and that's empty. And what I see is you looking around at these people, looking around at this group and thinking, there isn't true love here. There's no true connection here. And maybe it's not necessarily a friend group. Maybe it's like your coworkers. You've always longed for, being part of a team where everybody has each other's backs, but instead everybody's backstabbing. Nobody wants to share what they're doing because they don't want you to compete with them. They don't want you to have access to the same opportunities as them. And you're just looking around and you're like, Where is the camaraderie? Why isn't everybody helping each other out? Why is it just this constant battle and competition and this back and forth and, kicking people in the knees just so you can get above them? And you're tired of it. You're tired of all this. You hate this lifestyle. And this path is showing you the direction that you thought would be perfect, the direction that you thought would make you fulfilled and would make you happy. Now you know it's hollow. You can feel intuitively this is not right for you. So the lesson you need to learn is, are you going to move on and pursue something better? How much inner strength do you have? Who are you really? What are your values really? Are your values satisfying your ego and having this image of everything is great in my life? Versus, are you actually going to pursue passion? Pursue what you care about. Pursue the true version of yourself. Now, that's the main idea of what I think that this current life path that you're on is all about. But I'm going to get into the details here of what lessons will best help you move forward. And to do that, we have these 3 cards here. We have the Dragonfly and the Pansy, which such a pretty card. I hope you can see it. It's such a gorgeous card. Then we have the Vulture and the Asphodel. Asphodel is like this flower. This talks about upheaval. And the Chipmunk and the Laurel, which talks about success. To me, when I look at the Chipmunk card, the Chipmunk and the Laurel, which talks about success, I feel like a really big lesson that's going to help you along is being very confident and assured in what success means to you. Because I feel like in the past you've had this idea of what success needs to look like. For some people, success needs to look like, having a really fit body and having a partner whose body is really fit, and you guys have the perfect marriage and you have kids by the perfect age and those kids go to the perfect school and you guys exercise and you have great jobs and a great relationship, and then you raise those kids and they go to great college, and that's what success looks like to some people. To other people, success looks like, I don't know, maybe if you're a writer, it looks like getting a Pulitzer or getting a Tony. I think I don't really know what you get a Tony for, but there's different ways that success looks to people. For others, maybe success looks like just having enough money to buy your own little plot of land that you can farm on and you can be self-sufficient on. But I think you finding out what success means to you personally, what is your version of success? Not what other people think success looks like, not what other people will judge as the best, but what is success actually to you? When you can find that, and when you can be confident in that and feel like you don't need to live life for other people or for the judgment of other people, you will feel so much more self-assured in your path, in your purpose as a person, and also you won't feel the need to overexert yourself to please others. Because you will be so confident in that, even though this version of success, other people might think that's not successful, it makes me feel successful. It makes me feel happy. Being self-sustained on my little plot of land and being able to wake up and farm every day, that makes me feel happy. That makes me feel successful. Other people might look at that and think, you live with pigs and everything is so measly and you don't have any money. It's like, that doesn't matter to me. That's not my version of success. This is my version of success. Being self-sustaining, being able to take care of myself, that feels like success to me. And so, first of all, you learning what feels like success to you, what you actually want out of life, that's the first step. The next step is being able to be confident in that, even if your quote-unquote friends or family think that's not successful, or don't you ever wish that you had more, or don't you wish you had a Lamborghini? Once you can hear those things and it finally just is like water off a duck's back and you're like, you know what? I actually don't need all that. That's when you know that you have finally found true confidence and true success, is when you feel confident in yourself and your purpose in life. And you don't need to wait until you've achieved your version of success to feel confident. You should be able to find confidence right now, even in the process. Even though you haven't reached your goal yet, are you able to feel confidence in the direction that you're going? Are you able to speak about it proudly? Whether or not people kind of side eye it, or they ask you, "Oh, but don't you just wish?" No. You should be able to find confidence in the moment, in the present, on the way to your goal. Not waiting until you reach the goal to feel confident. But how can you have confidence right now? I think that is a major lesson that will help you along in your path, because the truth is, people often say, it's about the journey, not the destination. And that's absolutely true. The destination is great. That's what we want to get to. Success, that's what we want to get to. But while you're along the path, you don't need to feel insecurity constantly. You don't need to tell yourself like, I can only be confident and happy once I've reached my goal. All we have is the present. Yeah, we can look towards the future and we can look forward to it, but all we have is the present that we're in right now. Can you be confident in the present? And if you can't, you really need to look around. You need to say, what are my values right now? Am I valuing other people's opinions over my own? Am I valuing other people's judgments over my own? I feel like when you can overcome that, that's when you are on the way to true success. Now, looking at the upheaval card, I already talked a lot about how being comfortable with upheaval and being able to move on from things that don't suit you, that's going to be a great lesson to learn and feel comfortable with along the way. And that's going to be something that you're not truly going to be comfortable with it until you've done it. Something that this makes me think about is, anxiety. So I'm somebody that's dealt with social anxiety for a very long time. And it's one of those things that I was never able to overcome certain things that made me anxious until I just threw myself into it. And it's like, for instance, I always had this huge anxiety about like going to parties. I always thought like, I'm going to be weird. I'm not going to be charismatic. People are going to think I'm, a wallflower, or like I won't be able to interact. And obviously that was just me getting in my head about things. And that anxiety didn't go away because I told myself, anxiety, go away. It went away because I actually said, you know what? Even though I'm terrified, even though I'm super anxious and I don't want to do this thing, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to throw myself directly into the storm. And you know what? Once I threw myself into it, I realized, hey, this actually isn't that bad. I'm actually doing just fine here. These are just people that I'm interacting with. And then once I did that, all of a sudden my tolerance for those things, I was no longer scared. I actually had confidence, and it actually turned into something that I could actually enjoy. I started looking forward to going out and, partying and stuff like that. And I feel like upheaval is one of those things, being able to move on. It's one of those skills where you'll only be able to learn it and feel comfortable in it after you've done it. It's not something that you can just wait until the fear goes away to do it. Sometimes you're going to have to do it even though you're scared. You're going to have to throw yourself into the storm even though you're terrified of the storm. And it's the confidence that comes after. Confidence in yourself and your abilities, and finally being like, you know what? That actually wasn't that hard. I was so scared of it. I was building it up in my head this entire time. But after I did it, after I threw myself into it, it's actually not that big of a deal. And I feel like that's one of those lessons that you need to learn, is not necessarily a lesson, more so a skill, but also learning how to overcome fear, even in something as monumental as a life upheaval. Upheaval of, the job that you go to, deciding to quit and choosing something better, over relationships, being able to walk away or saying, you know what, this is no longer serving me, this relationship is only hurting me, even though I'm scared of being on my own, I'm scared of what independence might mean or how to go about that. I'm still just going to throw myself into the storm and know that I'm going to come out the other side okay. And I feel like that's not necessarily a lesson, more so something that you need to show yourself that you can do. And it might take a couple times of doing it before you learn that, you know what, it's actually not that scary. But it's something that you can do. Now, finally, with the dragonfly and the pansy, this card talks about balance. I think something that is going to help you along this path is learning what makes you feel that inner balance as you go along the path. And what I mean by inner balance is it's going to look different for everybody, because it's all about you finding what feels right to you. Like, for instance, a ton of money, maybe it didn't feel right to you because it all felt hollow. But that doesn't mean we need to swing to the complete other side of like destitution and having nothing. It's about what feels like the right balance for you. It's also like in relationships. This might be an easier analogy. Independence versus codependence. We don't want to swing completely to one end where we are completely denying our partner of ourselves and being completely on our own and ignoring the other person. But we don't want to swing to the other end of complete codependence where we're constantly around the person. For you, I feel like something that's going to be really important for you along that path is finding where is that sweet spot of what feels right to me? Because I feel like you are the kind of person that you've always swung from one extreme to the other. Maybe in childhood you were really poor, and so you swung to the other end of thinking, the most money in the world is going to save me. It's going to make me feel great. Or maybe you grew up with parents that were really codependent on you, and you felt like I have no space to breathe. And so you grew up and you swung to the other end of complete independence. I don't allow anyone near me. But then you start to feel a little bit lonely. What's going to help you along this path is finding where is that perfect sweet spot of balance of what actually feels right to you, where you actually want to be in your relationships, how much you want to work, what kind of job you want to work. I feel like you've never really found that sweet spot in these areas of your life. And because of that, you always felt jerked around you. And once you finally found something, you're like, why doesn't it feel right? It's because you're going off of the judgments of what should be right, of what people say should be right to you. Having this much money should feel right. Having this kind of relationship should be right. But there's no such thing as should be. Every person is different. Everybody has different likes and dislikes. Everybody has a different threshold of how much they can handle versus, how little they need. You have your own threshold. You have your own sweet spots. And it's about asking yourself, intuitively, asking your body, what feels right to me? How much do I need? How much do I want? How little is too little and how much is too much? And that's going to be something you have to find out on your own. There's no book that's going to tell you what feels right to you. The only thing that you have to listen to is yourself and your body. And that's going to be a hard lesson to learn because maybe you've never learned how to listen to your body or listen to your intuition. You just know, this doesn't feel right. But the thing about intuition is it's not something that we need to overthink. I heard somebody say the other day, drop all the pretense of you need to listen to your intuition, you need to listen to your body. Just ask yourself, does this make me happy? Or does it make me sad? It's that simple. Get down to brass tacks. What feels right? Does it make you happy? Does it make you sad? Does it make you feel pain? Or do you feel comfortable here? Ask yourself that kind of yes or no question. And obviously these things have nuance and things are always changing, and even our personal thresholds or what feels right is always changing. Maybe some days we want more and some days we want less. But it's about you having that ability to find balance yourself. Not looking in a book, not asking for advice, not going off of what people say should be right, but being able to listen to your body and your intuition and find out what is right for you personally. Now, finally, the final 3 cards that we have here are passion, peace, and protection. And these talk about what blessings are going to come out of you following this path. What blessings are you going to gain along the way? Starting off with passion, I feel like this is really self-explanatory. You're going to find what actually sets your heart on fire. By following what actually feels right to you and not what people tell you should feel right, you're going to actually discover what you truly love. Imagine a kid grew up. Actually, I have a better analogy. There's this saying that somebody said that really stuck with me, and it's like, if you judge a fish on how able they are to climb a ladder, that fish is always gonna feel like they can't accomplish anything in life. Versus, that fish is not meant to climb a ladder. It doesn't have thumbs, it doesn't have arms. It's meant to swim in the sea. And so you imagine a kid who is always judged on how good they are at math when maybe that kid is actually more artistically inclined. Maybe they're not good at math, maybe they're not good at writing, but they're really amazing at painting. And I feel like in societies, humans are really put into boxes of everybody should be graded on the exact same standardized tests. Everybody should go through the exact same courses. Everybody should accomplish the exact same things in life. And the truth is, humans are not meant to fit into boxes like that. And I feel like you have never really known life outside that box. You've only ever been judged on how well you can climb that ladder, when in reality, you're a fish. You're not meant to climb that ladder. And once you can discover the sea, you're going to discover, this actually feels right. This is where I'm meant to be. This is what I want to do. And so with passion, I feel like you finally finding out what feels right to you, what you want to do in life, it's going to unlock so many doors of passions that you have never even seen, never even felt. I feel like you have lived life where everything has felt so empty, everything has felt so wrong, and you finally standing up for yourself and saying, you know what? This doesn't feel right. I'm moving away from this. I'm pulling myself out of this environment that doesn't feel right. I'm pulling myself away from these people that are judging me or feel like I need to live a certain way. And once you do that, you're going to discover what you were actually made to do. And what you were made to do is follow what is in your heart. Follow what makes your heart sing and what makes your spirit happy. And with peace and protection, I feel like on a relationship level, you are going to feel so much more at peace because you're not going to feel constantly judged by others. You're going to feel like you're not constantly put down. You're going to feel like you're actually discovering relationships that make you feel seen and heard and people you can actually relate to. I feel like you're the kind of person that you've always lived life feeling like you can't really relate to anybody. Maybe you've had a hard time making friends, and a fish is going to have a hard time making friends with mammals. The fish is meant to make friends with fish. And you've just been in the wrong environment your entire life. You've been put against these standards for so long that you're not meant to be judged by those standards. You're meant to be in a completely different environment. And once you're actually in the environment you're meant for, around the people that are actually like you, pursuing the things that actually make you happy, you will finally feel what peace feels like. And I feel like you've never really felt peace. I feel like you've always felt like this all feels wrong. Why does my heart feel like there's this pit in my chest? There's this pit in my stomach. Why am I doing things wrong? Why can't I get anything right? Why is my communication so off? And it's because you're a fish on land. You're supposed to be in the water. And once you can get to that right environment, everything will click. And I feel like once you feel that click, you will be so at peace. You'll be so content and so happy. But the universe is trying to show you the only person that is going to pick you up and put you in that water, the only person that is going to pull you out of this environment that doesn't make you happy, pull you away from these relationships or this job that doesn't make you happy, the only person that's going to do that is you. Nobody's going to say, hey, have you ever noticed that you're a fish and you're not a mammal? No, nobody's going to say that. It's going to be you that has to look in the mirror and come to terms with yourself and say, I'm not happy here. I need to move on. You will be the one that has to do that. You will be the one that picks yourself up and puts yourself in the right environment. You will be the person that has to walk away. And once you do that, I think you'll be so thankful that nobody helped you along except yourself, because you will have so much trust and confidence in yourself, in your abilities, and your ability to push yourself to what will make you happy. Your ability to take yourself out of a bad situation and put yourself in a better one. So much confidence in yourself that you will take care of yourself. That at the end of the day, you know that you can trust yourself. And finally, with the protection card, I feel like there will be this level of self-love and security that you have with yourself, trust that you have in yourself. After all this that you've been through, after the hard work of pulling yourself out of these bad situations and putting yourself into better ones, after the hard work of finding out how best to love yourself, you will come to the end of this and feel so much love, trust, and protection within yourself that I feel like it's rare for people to have that much love and trust in themselves. And it only comes from the hard work and dedication of being able to actually put yourself first and take care of yourself. So pile 1, I know that was a long reading. I feel like I kind of said the same points over and over again, but I really hope that this resonated. I hope it brought you clarity on, what you're currently going through. And I know that there's a lot of growing pains of feeling like you're in the wrong box and just feeling like, why do I feel so out of place? Why does everything feel wrong? And I'm telling you, the universe is showing you this for a reason. There's a reason why things feel wrong. It's not just to make you uncomfortable. Actually, I truly believe that discomfort is given to us to get us out of bad situations. And when you're feeling that, that's a sign from the universe. That's a sign from your intuition. It's time to move. And I know it's painful, and over time, it will get easier. And what it will lead you to is the life that you are meant to live. Everything happens for a reason. I truly believe that. So Pile 1, I wish you the best of luck on your journey. I know it's going to be hard, but if you ever need advice, this channel is here for that. So thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. All right, Pile 2, if you chose the blue lace agate, then this is the reading for you. And I just want to say, this seems like a very, very specific reading. So if this doesn't sound like you, then it could be you just chose the wrong pile. So you might want to go back to the beginning and choose again, but it could just be also that this video isn't meant for you. If that's the case, I apologize, but I'm not really in control of who the video is for. But getting that out of the way because it seems very, very specific. I think this reading is, man, it's a very specific reading. I've actually never had this specific of a reading for a general reading before. This is the kind of reading I would get if I was doing a reading one-on-one with somebody. But this reading is for somebody who is having to be forced to learn how to grow up and be independent. Specifically, independence from the care of your parents, especially financially. And I feel like this is kind of the doing of either your father or a stepfather or a male figure who, because what I'm really seeing here strongly is there is a mother here. And the mom cares a lot for you, but there is a male figure that I'm getting the sense that they have decided, maybe they spoke to you or they said directly, they said, you know what, it's time for you to be a grown-up, it's time for you to be on your own, and like you quite literally just got pushed out of the nest. Like they said, you know what, you're at that age where you're on your own now. And I feel like maybe you came from money, like a lot of money, and finally they're saying, you know what, we're cutting you off financially, you need to learn to be your own person, your own adult. And I feel like for a long time you felt very safe and secure in the way that things were, you know, where you were taken care of. Maybe your mother really coddled you and took a lot of care of you and was always there for you. And now this male figure is really stepping in and saying, no more of that. We're doing this because this is for your own good. And I feel like there's a lot of pain and maybe even anger or hate in your heart for this male figure. I want you to know that they are doing this. This male figure is doing this because he loves you in his own way. And being able to make sure that you are self-sufficient, you know how to make your own money, you can take care of your own self, you can self-soothe, you can be a proper adult on your own, that gives this male peace of mind. And so it might seem to you that this is very harsh. And, you know, if I knew all the details, maybe I wouldn't agree with the methods that they went about. But all I can say is it's not coming from a place of hate or wanting to cut you off just for the sake of like, go be on your own, go be homeless. Like, I feel like he wants to do this to show you how to live on your own. And I feel like this mother figure or this female figure, it has always been the type to she really just wants to take care of you and take you under her wing. And I feel like you almost feel like you're getting cut off from that, and you're looking at this male figure, especially if it's not your biological father, if it's like a stepfather, and you're like, how dare you get in between me and the relationship with my mother? But I just want you to know that this is not coming from a place of hatred for you. This is not coming from a place of maliciousness. Even if he might seem very stern or heavy-handed, he's doing this out of wanting you to be able to grow up and stand on your own 2 feet. Now, I don't know the exact way that things went about, but that is the intention on his part, and that's what I'm seeing going on here. Because what I see is this King of Swords reversed and this Six of Pentacles reversed. The King of Swords is somebody who rules not with emotion, but with logic. They rule with an iron fist, and there's really no emotion in there. This is not somebody that knows how to be very caring. And when I look at the Six of Pentacles reversed, there is absolutely no charity. There is no money coming from this person. There's no help or aid coming from this person. What it makes me think about is like when way back in the way old days, I don't know what culture this belonged to, but I'm just remembering it right now, where they would send young boys who were at the age of maturity, they would send them into the forest alone for like a week or something like that, and they would say, you go out there, you learn to take care of yourself, you survive, and if you come back, you're now a man. And like that was their coming of age ceremony. That was what marked them as turning into an adult. And I feel like our society doesn't really have that anymore. I guess there's graduation, but we don't really have anything that marks you as you are now an adult. You passed this thing and now you can call yourself a woman or call yourself a man or XYZ adult. And I feel like this male figure, this father figure, is looking at you, and I feel like they feel like you have been coddled too much, and they want you to be, at your current age, be able to stand on your own 2 feet. And so they've decided to cut you off, whether that's financially, whether they've said, it's time for you to move out. That's what's happening. And with the Queen of Pentacles, clarified by the Knight of Cups reversed, I really get the sense like your mom or this female figure, she really has a lot of love for you. She seems like such a sweet woman, but I do think that she has a very strong tendency to really coddle you, to take you under her wing, or like if you like scrape your leg, she's like, oh, come here, let me take care of you. Like, don't even bother. Like when you come over, she cooks for you and cleans up after you, and that's all very sweet. But I get the sense with this Knight of Cups reversed, that's the male figure coming in between that and saying, no, you know what, they can make their own food, they can clean up after themselves. And I feel like that kind of annoys you because, you love your mom. Everybody loves to be taken care of by their mom. But this male figure is really stepping in the way and saying, in their own way, it's time for you to grow up. It's time for you to be an adult. And with the Five of Pentacles reversed and the Two of Swords reversed, I get the sense that you've really been thrown out into the snow on your backside and been handed basically nothing. And they're like, okay, go make something of yourself. And you feel scared. You feel alone, you feel like you have nothing, I feel like you're not even really sure what direction to go in, and I feel like a part of you feels like you can't handle it. I feel like you have a lack of confidence in your ability, and that's why this scares you so much. That's why this angers you so much, is because you don't actually know how to stand on your own 2 feet yet. And that's the harsh reality, is, yeah, you're pissed off. Yeah, you're like, oh, why are you getting in between me and my relationship with my mother? Why are you making decisions for me? Maybe this is a stepfather. Maybe this is not your actual father, and that makes you even more pissed off. You're like, how dare you get in between, this is family matters. How dare you throw me out on my ass? You're not my dad. But the truth is, the reason it angers you so much is because I don't think you know how to take care of yourself yet. I think if you already had plans set up, if you had a job lined up, if you had a home lined up, if you knew how to take care of yourself, you'd be a lot less pissed off. And I think a good portion of that anger, I think the universe is telling you, you really need to look within and say, you know what? Maybe he is actually a little bit right. I do need to learn how to stand on my own 2 feet. I have been allowing myself to fall back on the money of, these parents. Maybe you've been allowing yourself to get a little bit too comfy and you haven't really taken charge of what it means to be an adult. And when I look here at the side, and I apologize, this is the kind of reading where there's a lot of masculine father figure energy behind it of like, hey, it's time to grow up. This is what you need to hear. It might not be what you want to hear right now, but this is what the universe is bringing to you. And the truth is, whether this father figure is right or wrong, the truth is you don't know how to take care of yourself yet. And that is the lesson that you're on. That's the journey that you're on right now. It's not about the dad, it's not about the mom, it's not about who said what, it's not about is this right or not. The truth is, you need to start man or womaning up. It's time to become an adult. It's time to learn how to take care of yourself. It's time to stand on your own 2 feet. It's time to learn how to take care of yourself financially, take care of yourself in general, learn how to do all the chores on your own. And it doesn't matter what age you're at right now. This is the message that you're getting. And it might sound condescending. It might be painful to hear. It might even piss you off more. But this is the message that the universe is trying to deliver. So the two cards on the side here, you have the eel and the iris, which talks about safety, and you have the bee and the pomegranate, which talks about productivity. When I look at the eel and the iris, specifically the eel, it makes me think of how eels, I don't know if you've ever been to an aquarium and seen eels, but they always are hiding in the rocks, almost like hiding in little caves, barely poking their head out. And when I look at this card, I see this eel who's like tangled around the iris, and the iris makes me think of your mother. Or, for some of you, it might be both of your parents who you really have hid in the safety of their arms, hid in the safety of living under their roof, of using their money. And now you've been kicked out, there's no more cave to go back to, and all your instincts are like, how do I ram myself back against this wall? How do I form a cave so I can be safe again? But there is no cave. Now you got to go out into the wilderness. You got to go out into the real world, and you've got to find your own safety. You have to find safety in yourself and in your abilities. And that safety is no longer coming from an external person or external home or external financial stability. You need to find it within yourself. You need to find it in your own abilities. You need to find it in, out in the real world on your own. And that's scary. I can feel this layer of anxiety, but I think you've been covering up this anxiety with anger. Anger at this father figure of like, how dare you get in the way? How dare you force me to do this? Like, the truth is, I think a good portion of what's hiding under that anger is fear, because you're not sure if you can do it yet. You're not sure if you can stand on your 2 feet, but I think you can. I think, because I'm looking at this bee and pomegranate card, which talks about productivity. When I look at this card, it makes me think of somebody who has a high capacity of being very creative, very hardworking. I think you really have the capacity to excel in schooling or in work, but because you've never been pushed out of your comfort zone, because you've never been kicked out of the nest, you've never been put to the test before. And now you're out there. What are you going to do next? I think now, instead of focusing on the anger, instead of focusing on how am I going to get back at this person, how am I going to write them an angry letter, how am I going to XYZ, take that energy and focus it on, all right, how am I going to take care of myself? How am I going to make money? How am I going to make my own way in the world? And start putting some responsibility on yourself. Stop looking at this father figure or this parent that kicked you out and being like, woe is me, how dare you? Start actually looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, okay, I'm in charge now. It's my responsibility to take care of myself. It's not their responsibility to take care of you for the rest of your life. It's yours. Now, what are you going to do next? Now, finally, the last two cards that we have here are death and anxiety. And these talk about what blessings are going to come out of this path. Now, they might not seem like blessings now. In fact, everything around you might seem like the opposite of a blessing. But I want to tell you, at the end of this road, there is a transformation of you quote unquote, turning into a man. You might not, you don't need to be a man, but I'm imagining, like I said, that rite of passage where the boys would go out into the woods, have to forage and hunt for themselves, have to take care of themselves. And when they came out, they were considered a man. And you, what's the equivalent for you? What blessings will come along this way? What ability? Will it be an ability to take care of yourself? Will it be confidence in yourself? Confidence in your abilities? When I look at the death card, I truly think that you will come out of this on the other end a completely rebirthed version of yourself on all levels. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. I think the version of you that comes out of this path on the other side would look at the version of yourself in the beginning and would say, you know what, this was absolutely necessary. And the version of you in the beginning did not agree with it, was fighting about it, was super upset about it, was really anxious about it. But the version of you that comes out on the other end would do the same to your kids. And you would do it, and you would have a smile on your face, and you would say, you know what, I know it sucks, but when you come out on the other side, you're going to thank me. And your kids are going to look at you, and they're going to be like, fuck you, like, oh my God, I can't believe you made me do this. But you're just going to smile, and you're going to think, yep, I remember when I had to go through that. And it's going to be kind of like something that you look back on, you're like, God damn it, old man, like, now I see your side of things. Whereas when you first started this, I think you were so mad at this father figure, like, how dare you? But you come out on the other side and you see eye to eye, and you're like, you know what, you were right. And one of the blessings is The level of confidence, the level of self-assuredness, the ability to have gone out and made something of yourself and known that you did it with your own two hands and with your own mind. You made something of yourself. You took care of yourself, and no one can take that from you. Maybe in the beginning, they could take away the home, they could take away the money, but when you can make it on your own, no one can take that from you because it's yours. And even if you lose the money, you still have the ability, you still have the grit, you have the lessons learned along the way. The new version of yourself cannot be stolen from. And that's what this man was trying to give you. That's what this father figure was trying to give you. And with the anxiety card, I feel like any fears that you had, fears about what abilities you had in yourself, where life is going to take you, or am I able to do this? What if I fail? All those fears will melt away because you will have been put to the test and you will have succeeded. And when you succeed those tests, you know who you are as a person. There's no more fear. There's no more uncertainty. All of it is gone. Any anxiety you felt, and that is one of the blessings that you'll get out of this, is that such strong self-confidence and self-assuredness that there's no anxiety that can get to you anymore. Because you know who you are. You know yourself better than anything because you've been put to the test. I feel like so many people rarely are ever told, all right, do this completely on your own with no tools except your own mind. Good luck. And that's one of the things that you really get to know yourself on an intimate level, how much you can handle, how much you can grow, how much you can learn, how much you can accomplish. Very few people do that. And I think that's why this father figure is kind of doing this to you, is to show you yourself. And I think that's why I can imagine you in the future doing this to your own kids, is to show them what it means to be an adult, what it means to be confident in yourself and your abilities and be able to stand on your own 2 feet. And I think at the end of this is going to be something that you're really thankful for. And you might not feel it right now, but trust me, when you get to the end of this path, you're going to be so thankful and you're going to be so, so strong. So, pile 2, if you're just starting off this path, this is probably the last thing that you wanted to hear, but I think if you made it this far, I thank you for listening. I truly wish you the best on your path. I know that you can accomplish it, and don't beat up your parents too much. I think in their own way, they're doing what they can because they love you. So that's where I'll leave you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. All right, pile 3. If you chose the green aragonite, then this is the reading for you. And I just want to say, this reading is very specific. This reading and pile 2 were super specific. Pile 1 was the least specific, but even that one was a really specific reading. I don't know what it is today, but it really feels like I'm doing personal readings, not like general readings. So keep that in mind. If this doesn't sound like your reading, don't try to force it. It could be that you chose the wrong pile, or it could just be that this video isn't meant for you. But since I see such deep detail here today, I'm going to get as detailed as possible. So like I said, if it doesn't resonate, it could be that this just isn't meant for you. So when I look at these readings, these cards, I'm seeing somebody who is deciding to make a really big change in their life, to move away from the past version of themselves into a new version of themselves. And I feel like the past version of you, it was all about, put yourself first, only care about yourself. You can't trust anybody. You might have grown up in really tough circumstances, really tough conditions. People that you thought were friends might have backstabbed you. Maybe even literally, like maybe you just grew up in really tough conditions and you learned over time that you couldn't trust anybody but yourself, and that the only person that's going to help you get along in life, the only person that's going to help you get more money or make something of yourself is you. And I think you might have even needed to go about things in not so great ways. Maybe in order to get by, you had to steal, you had to fight, you had to take from other people, you had to threaten other people. And I think through doing that, you were definitely able to get by and maybe even make good money. And I feel like for some time it felt like it made you feel confident. You're like, yeah, I can take care of business. Nobody wants to mess with me. I'm so tough. I'm able to get all this stuff. And you might have grown up surrounded by like gangs. Maybe you were a drug dealer. And I think you might have hit some really high highs doing what you did, where maybe you were really respected in that area. And keep in mind, I am not from any of this. I don't know about any of this lifestyle, only from like TVs, but this is what I'm channeling. And I feel like you got to a point where you really felt like, yeah, I'm actually making something of myself. Maybe I'm finally going to get out of this place. Maybe I'm finally going to be able to move on to something better. Or maybe you didn't even really want to move on. Maybe you're like, yeah, I'm doing so good, I could run this place. And then something happened. And what I mean by something has happened is maybe you went to jail. Maybe you finally got caught. Maybe it was an unlucky break where you got thrown under the bus, somebody backstabbed you, and you lost everything. Lost all your money, lost your reputation, lost any friends you had, maybe even lost a few years of your life because you went to jail. And there was no recovering after that. And you finally got to this point where you're at this crossroads of, who do I turn into now? What do I make of myself? Because maybe you got out of jail, or maybe, I don't know, but suddenly you're coming up to this crossroads where you know you can't go back to that old life. And maybe there's a part of you that's like, well, maybe we can. Maybe we'll do it. We'll make a quick buck. It's not that hard. I can get back into it pretty easily. I still have some of those old connections. But you know that that's not a good path to go down. And you've been faced with this opportunity to turn yourself into something else. You've been faced with this opportunity of a new life that you could lead. And you're scared that you're not going to be able to do it. And something that really came to me for some of you is somebody could have come to you and given you an opportunity. For others of you, I think you might be a parent to a very young kid, like very young. And that's what's making you think, I need to turn things around. And forgive me, what I'm channeling is so specific. I'm going to do my best to explain it, but the feeling that I got when I was looking at these cards is, I'm imagining this man. You could be a woman, you don't need to be a man. But I imagine this man who's gotten out of jail. All he's ever known is a really tough life where he's had to fight for everything that he's ever earned. Has had to protect it from people that wanted to steal it. And all he knew was how to put himself first. And now he's a father. And he's looking at this little kid and he's thinking, I am not equipped to deal with this. I don't know where to start with this. I know how to shoot and steal and lie. I don't know how to change a diaper. I don't know how to raise a kid. I don't know the right lessons to instill in this little human. And I feel like you look at yourself and you think, I'm going to be a horrible inspiration for this child. I feel like you look at yourself and you think, there's no way I can handle this opportunity. There's no way that I can excel at anything other than shoot, steal, lie. There's no way. And there's just such a lack of confidence that you wonder, am I even able to do this? And there's a big part of you that just wants to run because you know that you feel like you'd ruin it. And I want to tell you that you can do this. You can. I think not only can you, but I think the fact that you're willing to try, the fact that you, after everything that you've done, and that being all that you've ever known, being able to stand up and do something completely different and be able to put somebody else before yourself for once, that is a bigger inspiration than anything else that I could ever think of. That's what a real man or a real woman is. Somebody that, when they don't know how to do any of it, is able to say, you know what, I'll figure it out. Because I want this opportunity. I want to turn things around. Now, I think for some of you, it could be, you're actually stepping into this role where all of a sudden you're a parent and you have no idea how to do it. For others of you, I was imagining, there's these videos I see online sometimes where it's this person comes up to an addict who's on the street or a homeless person. They offer them a job. They offer them the opportunity to turn their life around. And it's really sad because sometimes you see these people who have lost everything, who've never really had anything, and they're so low down that they think this is just another opportunity I would ruin, so why even take it? And that's the kind of mindset that I think that you're in right now. is why even try? I know I'm just gonna mess it up. When I look at this Ace of Pentacles, it's like God or the universe is handing you this opportunity, giving it to you and saying, this is for you. And when I look at the Six of Wands reversed, there's such a lack of confidence. It's like, don't give that to me. Give that to anybody else but me. I'm just going to drop it. I'm just going to ruin it. It's just going to break. It's just going to turn into a horrible version of me. And I want to tell you that the universe would not give you this opportunity if it was not possible for you to excel. And I truly believe you can turn things around, and you can. I'm almost imagining somebody who, if we go with the raising a child analogy, yeah, maybe you're the one raising this child. Maybe you're the one trying to teach it things, trying to teach it lessons, trying to instill values in it. But I think just the process of you trying to do that is instilling values in you, is teaching you. I think even though it's just this tiny little human that doesn't even know how to talk or walk, you can learn from it. You are being taught so many wise lessons because of this little tiny being. And the universe has given you this, not just to say, hey, here's some responsibility to put on you, take care of it. It's to say, here is this thing that you can grow alongside. You can turn yourself into something better. All you needed was the reason why. Let this be your reason why. Let this self-growth be your reason why. Let taking care of somebody other than yourself be your reason why. And when I look at the Temperance card and the Emperor reversed, I feel such... It's funny because I'm imagining in my mind like somebody who was trained to be like a killer, for instance. This doesn't need to be you, but this is the things that's coming to mind. Somebody that was trained to be a killer and they're really good at what they do. They were, I don't know, the greatest assassin in the world, extremely capable. Give them a mission, they're gonna fulfill it. Let's go with like a special operator, because this is actually pretty common in special operations, because I listen to a lot of interviews about like Navy SEALs or Delta Force operators who they were trained to do this extremely brutal and dangerous job so efficiently, so precisely. They were perfect at it. They worked over and over again, the same things over and over again to become perfect at it. But you hand them this little child and they feel so incompetent. It's almost funny. These should be the most competent people in the world, and yet you hand them this little kid that's theirs, and you tell them, hey, take care of this thing, and all of a sudden they're fumbling, and they're like, I don't know what to do with it. They're like holding it upside down. So it's kind of funny, but in other ways it's kind of sad, because it's like all they know is violence. All they know is extreme efficiency, but you tell them to be soft, you tell them to be gentle, you tell them to put something else before themselves, and they don't know how to do it. But that doesn't mean that you would just give it up. Sometimes it just takes patience. Sometimes it means we need to ask questions, even though they're maybe quote-unquote dumb questions, like how to change a diaper, how to feed a baby. Maybe you need somebody to show it to you. But what you need is patience, the willingness to learn. And you can do it, and over time you will grow, you will learn, things will get easier, and you'll become more efficient at this, and before you know it, you'll be an expert at it. But I feel like when you start this, you feel so inadequate. You feel like, I was only trained to do one thing. I was only trained to do XYZ thing. There's no way I can learn to do this. Well, I want you to think about before that Navy SEAL even learned how to shoot a gun. He had to start somewhere. Yes, he was able to get to the point that he was ultra proficient, ultra accurate, amazingly efficient at using this machine and being a machine himself. But he had to start somewhere. You don't expect anybody to be good at raising a child on their first go-round. Whenever anybody has their first child, it is their first time being a parent. You need to read some books, you need to figure things out, and that's okay. It's a learning process. And maybe you didn't get the learning process beforehand because you didn't even know this kid was going to be here. But now it is. This opportunity, whatever, now it's here. Are you going to choose to make a change? And I feel like the universe is begging you, please, do what's best for yourself. Do what's best for this new life, this new opportunity, this new child. Whatever it is, you can do it. And I know you have this fear, this lack of confidence, lack of belief in yourself. You think, I'm only good at one thing, and that thing is violence. That thing is stealing. that that thing is cheating or putting myself before anybody else. But I want to tell you, that is not all that you are. You are capable of so, so much. And I know there's a huge part of you that wants to take this opportunity. I'm imagining your inner child is like, please, let's try this thing. Let's see what beautiful things it can lead to. Let's see what we turn into on the other side of things. But the you now is so scared of what it might mean to fail, or what if you destroy this thing and take it out of my hands because I'm just going to ruin it. And I want to tell you, you're not going to ruin it. It might take some learning. There's going to be a learning curve. It might take some time to get used to things. But there's so much beauty that will come out on the other side. And there's so much growth that you have yet to see in yourself. Now I want to move on to, what lessons will help you along the way. And to start off, you have the snail and the huckleberry, which says, trust in the invisible. When I look at the snail, we know snails move extremely slowly, and I feel like that's how you're going to feel that you're moving, at least at the start. You're going to feel like every little thing that you do wrong is a major setback, and you don't know what direction to go in. Maybe you're a single parent, and that's even harder because you're like, it'd be a lot easier if you had somebody to show you the way, but all you have is yourself. And you're moving at this extremely slow pace. But what I want to show you is, this card says trust in the invisible. You wouldn't be watching a tarot video unless you believed in some sort of higher power. And I want you to trust in the fact that you will be guided. Even if it feels like you have nobody on your side, you're not sure what to do, you don't know where to start when it comes to learning this new thing, or how do I go about XYZ thing? It might feel slow, but even that snail, even as slow as it's moving, it's still moving forward. And something is guiding you. Something is going to make sure that you're going the right way. But what it needs from you is a willingness to put one foot in front of the other and be willing to move. It's like that saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. The universe is trying its best to lead you, but it's up to you to drink. It's up to you to put one foot in front of the other. It's up to you to decide what you're going to do and commit to it. Are you going to fall back on the old version of yourself, or are you going to take this opportunity and run with it? That's the decision the universe needs you to make. The universe can give you all the signs in the world. It can guide you. It can show you the exact direction to go. It can give you the opportunity directly into your hands. It can put that child into your hands. But it's up to you. Are you going to take the opportunity? Are you going to put one foot in front of the other? Are you going to say, okay, you know what? Yes, I am committed to this. I am in 110%. That's your job. Commit. And then once you've committed, trust that you will be guided. Trust in the invisible. Trust in what you cannot see. Trust that you are going in the right direction. And with the Cayman and the Poppy card, this talks about dreams. I feel like this can talk about two things. First of all, when I hear dreams, I think about signs and messages you might get in your dreams. Guidance. I feel like as you go along this journey, something that's going to help you is being really in tune with your intuition and with your spirituality and the relationship that you build with your faith. Whatever that faith is, whether it's religion or your own personal spirituality, building up that connection is going to be really important for you. But it also makes me think of the other idea that we talk about when we talk about dreams, what we look forward to in the future. I feel like you are the kind of person that's given up on your future. But if we look at a baby, for instance, you don't want to give up on that baby's future. You're very content throwing away your future. You're like, you know what? I've had my run. I was a horrible person. There's no salvation for me. But if you look at this little kid, or imagine the inner child within yourself, would you really throw away that inner child's future? Would you throw away this little baby's future? Imagine yourself as the baby version of you. Would you throw away that baby's future? I don't think you would. That baby had dreams. That kid had dreams about what their life could look like. It had dreams about what it wanted to accomplish, what it wanted to pursue, about all the things that it loved and where life could take it. That's you. And maybe if you have this baby in front of you, it's easier to say, you know what, yes, I will take care of this child because it deserves to be taken care of. But if you don't, if it's just you and your own future, I really want you to think about the young version of you. The young version of you that wasn't taken care of, that nobody cared about the dreams of, Who's going to care about those dreams? Only you can do it. You deserve to be taken care of. You deserve to be cared for. And I want you to know, even though I don't know you, even though I'm just some stranger on the internet, I care about you. I care about your future. I care about what you decide right here and now because I want the best for you. Truly. I think that if you truly were a lost cause, God or the universe would not give you any more. Your life would be over. There would be no opportunities coming your way. But there is a higher power that believes in you, that sees what you are capable of, and that's why you've been given this opportunity. Because your life is not over. You are not done. It's not time to just lay down and give up. There is still more to come for you. But it's up to you what you decide to do. And what I would urge you to do is believe in those dreams that you had, those ideas that you had for the future, the things that you wanted to pursue, the things that you wanted to create. Look forward to them again. Because I feel like you've given up so much to the point where you don't even know how to dream anymore. You don't even know how to look forward to the future. Because you're so content with, I'm just going to give it up. I'm worth nothing. Therefore, I shouldn't really pursue anything. And I want to tell you that if that was the case, the universe would have done away with you a long time ago. But you're still here, and you have been handed this beautiful opportunity. So take it. Don't just give up. You deserve so much. And the final two cards that we have here today talk about the blessings that will come along this path. What blessings will you gain? You have ideation and love. And something that makes me really happy here is when I imagine you, and this might be triggering because I'm going to talk about suicide. So if that's something that you don't have the capacity to listen to, then that's that. But there's that warning. I feel like when I think about you as a person, or the kind of person that has completely given up on life, or doesn't look forward to anything, doesn't know how to dream, doesn't know how to think about the future, because they've only ever thought well, tomorrow might be the day that I just give up. Tomorrow might be the day, so there's no point in looking forward to anything. There's no point in caring about anything because, and it doesn't even need to be, for example, something that I heard once is suicide doesn't need to look like something that we decide to do. Sometimes it looks like every time you drive, you take off your seatbelt because, if a car is meant to hit you, then okay, it's over. Or it might look like being extremely reckless with your body. It might look like drinking way over the normal amount because you're like, you know what, if today's the day, then today's the day. Suicide doesn't need to look like making that choice to pull the trigger. Sometimes it looks like being reckless with ourselves because we just don't care. And so maybe you wouldn't classify yourself as suicidal, but maybe you're the kind of person that just doesn't wear a seatbelt. Maybe you're the kind of person that doesn't take care of your body. I feel like there's certain things that can be very triggering that I'm going to get into. And I want to say, if you deal with those things, I urge you strongly, please reach out to somebody. Please seek out professional help if you have the ability to do so. I know therapy is super expensive, and it's a pain in the ass to find the right person. And sometimes if you reveal certain things, then it's a pain in the ass. I know. But you're going to need support moving forward because I feel like there's a large part of you that does want to move forward, that wants to keep going, that wants to see another sunrise and wants to feel love and feel happiness and feel joy. And I feel like when your entire life has just been pain and people have given up on you and people have abandoned you or people have hurt you or betrayed you, no wonder you feel the way that you feel. But life holds more than that for you, and I really want you to have faith. And the universe wants you to have faith. That's why you're hearing this message. That's why you've been given this new opportunity, and I feel like you're holding it in your hands, whether it's an actual human life or it's just an opportunity to turn things around. You're holding it and you're thinking, why me? I am the last person that is equipped to deal with this or to go forward with this, and I want to tell you that's not the case. You were given this for a reason. It was given to you specifically because it is meant for you. And I think the blessings that you will get on the other side of this, when I look at ideation and love, I see somebody who looks forward to waking up in the morning. I see somebody that is actually planning out the next 5 years of their life and doing so happily. I see somebody that looks forward to retirement, looks forward to putting their kids through school, looks forward to the memories that they make, and looks forward to every single breath that they take. Because that version of you loves life, loves yourself, and loves the dreams that you've created for yourself. Looking forward to, traveling the world, or pursuing the arts, or pursuing what makes you happy. Maybe you want to be a farmer, and so you're like, yes, you know what, I'm just going to save up till I buy myself a little plot of land, and then I can retire, and I'll be self-sustaining, and that's my dream. The version of you that comes out on the other side of this path, the version of you that takes this opportunity and goes forward, turns into somebody that idealizes the future like that, that can look forward to your future, and does so happily, feels a lust for life, and a happiness and a love for yourself and for those around you. And for your story. I feel like you're the kind of person that will want to reach out and help other people just like you. People that have gone through it, people that have been dragged through the mud, people that have been betrayed and hurt and tossed aside. You will turn into the kind of person that wants to help them. That sees the little version of yourself in them and wants to help build them up and show them that life can be about something greater in the exact same way that I'm trying to show you right now. And when I see the love card, the version of you that comes out on the other side of this path has so much love. Not just love within yourself, but love from other people. A love that you can feel from the universe, a love that you can feel through your relationship with faith. And I want to imagine, for those of you where this opportunity given to you is this little human life that is now your responsibility, the amount of love that you can feel for that child and that child can feel for you. I don't think there's any stronger love in the entire world. There's nothing worth living more in the entire world than that love, that care, that relationship, that bond. I mean, that's why humanity has existed this long, is billions of fathers and mothers across the world who have had that strong love for their children, and those children feel it reflected back and decide that they want to have children of their own. And I don't know what your relationship is like with family dynamics or with raising children, but I want you to know that if you fit into that boat, and this is resonating with you, there is so much love that can come out of this relationship for you, for yourself, for this little life, and for your life ahead of you. And I want to urge you, when you feel that lack of confidence, when you look at yourself and you're like, there's no way I can handle this, I'm just going to ruin it, I want you to know the universe does not just hand out gold to people that are not worthy of it. The universe does not hand out love to those that are not worthy of it. The universe would not give you this if you were not worthy and capable. And I want you to know, as I say this from the bottom of my heart, I believe in you. You can do this. You are worthy, and you are the one that is meant to do this. That's why the universe gave it to you. And all you have to do is say yes. The universe will do the rest. The universe will guide you. The universe will show you the right way. You will be protected and guided throughout this. But what it needs from you is commitment. Are you in or are you out? Are you going to try? And if you fail, are you going to pick yourself up and keep trying, even when it's hard, even when you feel like you're moving at a snail's pace? And something I want you to do is every time you see a snail on the sidewalk or the road, I want it to be a sign to you. You know, as slow as that snail is moving, you might look at that snail and you might say, you know, why do you even try? Why do you even try to move forward when you're literally going at a snail's pace? But if you watch it, you'll see. You know, maybe it only moves like a meter, a few yards. But when it does, it's living, it's breathing, it is accomplishing its tasks, it is pursuing what its life purpose is, even though it's slow. And so I want you to look at that reflected into your own life. Your reason for being, your reason to keep going, even though it might seem slow, even though you're not sure, maybe there's setbacks, maybe there's roadblocks, but it is worth it to keep going. You are worth it. So pile 3, that is everything that I have for you. I know that was a long-winded reading, and it was very specific, but I want you to know that if you resonated with this, I wish that I could explain to you the amount of love that I feel for you right now. I wish that I could convey it. I wish that you could see me face to face and look into my eyes and feel the universe's love from me to you. I believe in you. And I want you to know that even if you don't believe in yourself, even if there's people in your life that are like, you should just give up that kid, there's no way you can take care of it. I want you to know I believe in you. And the universe gave you this opportunity for a reason. And all you need to listen to are the signs, the synchronicities, your intuition, your heart. I know it's easy to give up and to give in when you feel like you can't do it, but I want you to know that I believe in you, even if you don't believe in yourself. And I truly, from the bottom of my heart, I truly wish you the best on this journey. I love you so much. The universe loves you so much. That is everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.